on my channel. I did not sleep well. I actually didn't sleep at all last night. I think I slept between 3:34 and 5 o'clock, and that was it. So when I went back to bed, I crashed really, really hard. So I don't see any of the chat yet. So just give me a second here. And don't forget tonight's reading with Beverly Wolfe. And this is going to double for your Thursday live stream. There's no need for two, correct? All right, give me a second here. It literally takes me an hour from when I wake up to get to this chair because I get up, do my constitutional, get dressed, load the fire because it's down to ashes, so I got to take some ashes out and put wood on the coals. Then I got to put Gracie out. Then I got to make a tea. Then I got to feed and water Gracie. All this stuff with the amount that I move takes me an hour, close to an hour. All right, here we go. Let me just check something here. Okay. Details, link, boom, boom. And here I am. F11, that puppy. Let's wait for the chat to pull up. Okay, pop out chat. Now, brain fart. I put this on cinema mode, and then I roll the chat up, and then pop it back out, because pop out chat, make it big, put it on live chat. There, everything has its order of things. I had a bad headache last night, and I think it's the pressure changing. And like it wasn't last night that I just tossed and turned so much that by the time 2 o'clock in the morning rolled around, I had a massive headache. I'm much, much better now. I'm just tired. It's a beautiful day. Oh, yeah, he loved his baked goodies. Except he doesn't like pecans. I can't win. Howie won't have raisins, and Alex didn't like pecans. He said, and I said, but they're just sitting on top. He said, oh, I'll pick them off. He ate like 3 or 4 of them, so God love him. And his friend. And he said, we were talking about conspiracy theories or what, most people would call conspiracy theories. And he said, this coming from the woman with the cat ears. I said, they're bear ears. I identified. No, I'm just teasing. But he got a big kick out of that. All right, let me pop out the chat and say hello. Or the participants, I mean. Barefoot Chickens. Aloha, Seashell. I realize that the morning ones normally it's too early for you, so thank you for being here, my love. Chanel 23. Chloe Cat. Dita Richardson. Doof! How's the weather in Newfoundland? Edie, hi, honey. Jackie Geeb, Jenny Bruno. Mom Stuff. Kim Solomon, hi. Lacey Black, Lena K, Leona 1959, Lori Lazor McChesney, Lynn Smith, Michelle, I almost called you Philip. Michelle Jones, Rebecca Lynn, Rosie Bernard, Charlene Weber, Sharon Addick, Teresa Pomelo, Tina Elliott, and Trudy W. Hi, everybody. How's it going? I'm sure I missed a few people who are still coming in. Give me a second. Good stuff. It's funny, when we were visiting the kids for that couple hours on Saturday, Bubba was in his chair, his high chair. Well, it's actually, yeah, he was in his high chair, and right next to me, and he had raspberries and little crackers and slices of cucumber and bits of cheese. It's his meal. It's finger food, right? Hey, Luke. How's I assume you're saying Ireland, right? Luke? Patricia Carson. Hi, it's been a minute. How are you, darling? I'm feeling much better. I'm just really, really burnt out, and I don't know why. I just don't know why. Here she starts again. I'm supposed to be getting an induction, 2 burner induction portable cooktop. They said they've sent it to me. I haven't seen it yet. That's what I thought it was when Gracie jumped off the bed and started freaking out. I thought there would be a parcel, but there wasn't. Linda, stop spoiling me. What was I going to say? I'm all over the place just yet. I'm not awake, guys. I'm not awake. But, oh, Brier's sick too. Oh, yeah, Bubba. That's right. That's right, Bubba. So, Brier's really sick. So, anyway, I'm sitting next to him, right? And this is really funny. It's really funny, okay? He handed me a raspberry. And Mel said, be careful. He wants things back once he gives them to you. And he handed me a raspberry, and I popped it right in my mouth, went, and he popped a raspberry. But she brought him he's got like a sippy cup, which isn't the sippy cup with the spout on it that we're used to. It's, you can turn this thing upside down. It won't leak. It's got this weird vacuum edge, but he knows how it works. So I had a sip of tea, which had oat milk in it, which was fine. But he took his sippy cup and took a sip, and he went like this. And I went, yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? He does that when he does a little growl. It's so precious. Brier's got the flu. He's feeling, he hates calling in sick to work because he's one of those people who will go unless he thinks he's going to infect somebody. If his knee hurts, he's going to go. If he's got a migraine, he's going to go to work. But when he says, Mom, I've got, he said, I think I got bronchitis. I think I got pneumonia. And I got all his symptoms. And I said, you've got the flu, sweetheart. Apparently, there is some scientific evidence that man flu is an actual thing, and they get it worse than women. I don't believe it, but that's okay. My baby's not feeling well. And so he phoned his boss, and his boss basically said whatever and hung up on him. But Brier's the kind of person that'll show up even when he's in pain, right? He's got my knees and my ankles, poor baby, and my back, right? So he went to the pharmacy because he was sick on his 2 days off, or his 3 days off. He was sick, like on his weekend, like the days he gets off. And he's phoned me yesterday. He's like, I don't know if I can go into work on Friday. Right. And I said, then don't. And he says, yeah, but there's always this one guy that comes in or phones in every weekend because he's sick. He calls in like every other weekend sick. And he said, I hate to do that to my boss. I said, Brier, I said, you have the flu. You sure? I said, I got him to read me the stuff that the pharmacist gave him. I said, if it's an expectorant and a suppressant, and you have you're running a temperature and you feel, it's the flu, son. And he goes, oh my God. Because I remember when I had the flu once, I thought I had bronchitis or pneumonia. I thought I did. But it was just the flu, and there's nothing they can do about it. So I said, take your cough medicine, take your Tylenol, drink lots of water and clear fluids, lots of water and clear fluids. And I said, and stay home until you feel right. Well, maybe I'll be able to work Saturday. I said, Brier, just let yourself. I said, people have had this shit for 2 and 3 weeks. So just look after yourself. Hey, Joe Mama. Are you in Cleveland today, honey? It's Thursday. My youngest grand is 6, and I have 5 girls and 1 boy. I have 1 grandchild, and he is, oh my goodness. I wish I could show you. I gotta talk to you about my Bubba. My Bubba. I gotta say, Michelle Jones, every time I see your name, it's like my ex-girlfriend is alive again because her name was Michelle Jones too. Hola, Lizette Perez. How are you, darling? Corey, hey. So this is going to double as your Thursday night live, guys. just because I got to get some stuff done. And tonight is Little House Live, and I'm limiting myself to what I can do. I did 4 live streams yesterday, and my poor patrons only got like a 20-minute stream because by the time they were the 4th stream, and I was exhausted. So, hi, Robin Rose. So they sent me pictures, right? Because I said if he doesn't want to sit on Santa's knee, don't make him, right? So there's a picture of him, and the Santa had a real beard and mustache, right? So there's a picture of him sitting on the floor in front of this Christmas backdrop playing with something, and he's looking at Santa, and you can see in his face, he says, is that Granddad in a costume? You could see him making, my granddad's got a beard like that. So he's looking, right? And yeah, he was with her for 3 years before she passed on Christmas Day. Oh my God. Oh my God. How you doing, Corey, my love? I laugh at Howie. Or Howie, I laugh because every time I say, the next time we go south, we got to go to Nolans. He said, where? I said, New Orleans. Nolans. I don't know if I said it right. I said, we got to visit Corey. I said, I got to get me some of that hugging from Corey. My brother, another brother. I have to phone. I have sent John and them a Christmas card. And your mother died on December 23rd. Well, you know what? I honestly think it's a horrible time for us, but what a glorious time for them to go home, right? I bet you heaven's just ringing bells around this time of year, right? Hi, Ann. Oh, Bubba and the beard. So he's looking. He's playing with something on the floor, and he's looking at Santa like he's making the correlation between the bearded white man, because he had just. Well, granddad comes into when if Howie's home and we're having a FaceTime, Howie will come in, put his head on my shoulder, and say hi to Bubba. But anyway, the second picture is Arthur and Mel with Bubba in between them, like on their combined lap, and Santa next to them. And Bubba's doing this. Okay? Now, I know that look. I've spent FaceTime on with my baby so much. It's like if he bumps his head or he falls down and it startles him and it's unexpected, he'll do that. And he's literally looking at the adults to say, should I cry or not? And if you say, it's so far away from your head, come on, see, good trip, see you next fall. And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. But if you go, oh, baby, are you okay? And he goes, no, I'm not. And he's crocodile tears. He is so good at it. ConnectedHeartsFamily@gmail.com. I do believe Seashell put it up there somewhere. Or there it is. Seashell put it up. ConnectedHeartsFamily@gmail.com. I will check my spam folder after. I will check it, and I will check my spam folder after this. Hey, Linda, how are you, honey? Now, listen, folks, speaking of, because Linda gets really worried when I say I'm going to be here. Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? I accidentally had 2 live streams running, and I wasn't showing up for one because I was at the other, and everybody was having panic attacks because I was 20 minutes and I hadn't showed up. Don't worry about it. I'm an old gimpy broad who can bear. My law teacher just jumped in and started laughing. I'm an old gimpy broad who can't, who I always know what I'm willing to do in a certain amount of time, but I don't always get to this. You know what I mean? Like I said, it takes me an hour to get from bed to here because there's, stuff I have to look after. Hi, Kendra. Lori Richards. Hello. Oh, that is very good. Yellow bird. How are you, darling? So, this is our tea break. But it's also subbing for tonight's live stream. So I am not awake yet. I am not awake yet, Lazy. I am not awake yet. So anyway, they sent me these pictures and I just think they're wonderful. I've got to get some frames. 60's the new 30. Not for me, baby. 60's the new 85. Right? I need coffee before I'm drinking my tea right now. I'm drinking my tea right now, and I'm going to roll me my meds because I can barely move. So, yeah, the butter tarts, I got to tell you, the butter tarts, once, you know how they look like they were like poo, like aliens? They went back down to a normal butter tart. They're all gone. I ate 2 out of 8, and then Howie and Alex ate the rest. So Howie took 1 in his lunch, and those pecan bars I made on the fly. Did any of you guys see that? Put your hand up if you saw me make the butter tarts. The puff pastry was horrible. It wasn't horrible, but it didn't puff up and be flaky. It was only puffed up a little bit. So I'm not going to recommend anybody do that version. I'm going to do another version of puff pastry soon and make proper sausage rolls. It's going to be a video so that instead of a live, so that I can actually pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, so that pecan, I had a little bit of butter tart left over, and I had a bit of pastry left over, so I chopped up the pastry and I mixed it with oatmeal and a bit of flour, a bit of sugar and a bit of butter, and I made a crust. I'm telling you, man, it's a new thing. You can make out of your bits of pastry. Oh, plus I have those spin wheel cookies, which I haven't cooked yet. That turned out really good. Once it cooled down, I could cut it into like cookies. And it was how he took the last butter tart and 2 of those little pecan bar cookies. And he took 7 sausage rolls, some slices of cheddar, and some pickles. Because I said, well, I can give them to you for lunch, but what do I make with them? Because I'm so used to sandwiches and fruit. He said, just give me some pickles and cheese. And it's like, okay. And so I just phoned him a little while ago, and he said lunch was amazing. He said it was really good. It was a nice change from ham sandwiches and fruit. So it all turned out really well. And I still have some pecan bar cookies in the fridge in a tin, and I still have my cinnamon rolls to bake off. So tonight's supper is not a video. He is a good guy. And for the amount that he does, like I was talking about this, I've never had to work. Never once has Howie ever made me feel I had to work, except in his drinking days. Because, of course, if I work, there's more money for booze, right? And I did work in our drinking days. When I say our drinking days, like we were talking to Alex last night about how, Howie's drinking made mine look good because Howie was a daily drinker and I was a binge drinker. And Alex looked at me because he has a friend there, and he said, when did you know? When did you know that this was a problem? I said, well, I knew it was a problem all along, right? I said, but the breaking point was, you all know the story about me and Howie and the kids in the car, right? And I said, and so I told him, I said, the kids watch their parents go nuts. They were the ones driving. The parents were driving the car. The parents are supposed to be the adults, and our kids could only cling to each other and stare at the people in the front seat who were turning the air blue, calling each other names in anger and rage and stuff. You actually work all the time. You're one of the hardest working persons I know. Well, thank you, Chanel. And so I told him about that. And Howie's like, no. I said, no, he asked. I'm going to tell him the whole story. And I had help from God, right? Because I packed my kids into my sister's car. And before that, I reached for a bottle of whiskey that my hand couldn't touch. Wouldn't touch it, kept going by it. And then I heard the voice. You touch that bottle, you drink that alcohol, someone's going to die tonight. And that's when I phoned my sister. And then I talked to my brother. And my brother talked to me till my sister showed up. And Howie was drunk standing at the neighbor's driveway and watched us fill my sister's car and leave. And I was driving, and we drove right past him, and he didn't have a clue who it was, or nothing of it registered until the next day when he woke up. So that's a very Reader's Digest kind version of the first time I ran away from home. Right? I've run away from home 3 times. The first time, I'm not sure it counts, but I've run away from home 3 times. Howie says, she won't run away now, he said to Alex. I said, yeah, because you're too old to friggin' chase me down again. And besides, I'm too old to run. So it ended on I've managed. Hi, Helen. You know, you got to do what you got to do to be safe in life. To be safe. Somebody had to be an adult. And Howie and I were 2-year-olds having temper tantrums, driving a car with our kids in the back seat who were terrified of what they were watching, you know? Well, I still say we should get married again, but oh my goodness, this is, I still say we should get married again, but you know what? Every day we wake up, every day, when I make Howie's this morning, it was cereal, and I made you heard me pack about the lunch I packed him. Every day is an affirmation of our vows. Every day that he goes out the door with a kiss and says, and I tell him to drive carefully, and that's our thing. Ever since I've ever known, since we've had a car, drive carefully. I always do, he says, right? But I mean, there's little rituals that are actual vowel renewals every day. I love you. Drive carefully. Take care. God bless. Have a good day. How's your supper? Having his supper waiting when he gets home. Those are our little things that renew our vows every day because we don't take each other for granted. Period. Full stop. Absolutely, Charlene. Absolutely. Aching bones is another telltale sign of flu. Well, tell that to my fibro. My fibro is more of a, hang on. My fibro is more of a muscular nerve and muscular issue. Arthritis is arthritis. And oh man, see how you can't really see it, but let me see if I can get the right angle. There is lumps. You see that lump here? And there's one here. These started about 15 years ago. I was told when Brier was a baby that I was going to have rheumatoid arthritis in my hands and it was going to start my thumbs. Well, it started about 15 years ago. It's getting really bad the last couple of years where I have to pull on it to get it in place and stuff. But right here, you can't even see it. It's so tiny. It's like the head of a straight pin. There's a little tiny ball in there, and it hurts to touch it. That's how it starts. You get the ball, and it's painful for a long time, and then it gets hard, and then it's no longer painful until something flares it up, right? So how did I get a fibro diagnosis? I went to a pain specialist. This is a long story. You really want to hear about my fibro diagnosis? Okay, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. It started with carpal tunnel syndrome when I was pregnant with Brier. And my hands kept going numb. And I would have shooting pains through them. And then when Brier was, I don't know, I can't remember. It's right close to my first hernia surgery. I had carpal tunnel surgery on this hand. I'm going to say it was 1999, 2000, right? When I had carpal tunnel in 2001. And after that, nothing, the numbness went away in my hands, but there was just constant pain. I would have, and originally my sister diagnosed me. Because I said my family doctor back then said, no, you don't have fibro, right? Because she tried all my trigger points. And my sister said, Bev, has she ever diagnosed somebody who is obese? And I went, I don't know. I didn't ask her. She said, okay, sit down. And my sister went over, there must have been like 18 spots that she touched that had me off the chair, right? Because they're in such unusual spots, you don't bang them that often. So you don't realize, right? And now it gets, my first indicator of a fibro flare is like somebody's driving a hot wire into the side of my left calf. And if you touch it, it goes, no, right? But my sister sat me down because when you're obese, okay, the fibro point can be right here for the doctor, but the fat layer makes it over here because it has to get down. It goes in on angles and stuff. So after my sister tested me, I had to take, ibuprofen and go to bed for like the rest of the day, right? But in 2012, now from 1993 to 2012, that's how many years is that? 13 years? That they had been filling me full of, they had been giving me, steroidal anti-inflammatories and Celebrex and the naproxen sodium, which is kind of like Aleve, only really, really strong and prescription strength. And all of the, morphine, codeine, Demerol from surgeries, all of these things battered my body to the point where I can take ibuprofen if it's coated and only once in a blue moon. Like I wouldn't take it twice in the same 24-hour period. And I have to take it with food. That's the only time, but not normally it's Tylenol and muscle relaxers. And the doctor diagnosed me when the doctor sent me finally to another pain specialist in Gatineau. And when I was waiting for him to come in, I saw there's nothing but a big poster for Celebrex on his wall. I just stood there looking at it because Celebrex almost killed my brother. And it stopped me from ever being able to take anti-inflammatories more than once in a 24-hour period. So they're basically useless to me, right? And the doctor came in and he said, so what's going on? And I told him, and I said, that Celebrex shit, I can't have that. I can't have any anti-inflammatories anymore. I can't have it. I went down my list of pain medications. So he said, okay, well, I'm going to test you for fibro. And I go, okay, I'm ready. I brought my Tylenol with me and he goes, why? I said, because you're going to put me in bed for the rest of the day. He said, no, we don't put pressure points anymore. We don't. He said, we've seen what it does to people who really have fibro. So I did a bunch of tests, movement tests, mobility tests, bending tests, lifting my arms tests, and pointing out where the pain would start if I was going to go into a fibro flare. And he said, okay, point to the spots. And I pointed to them all where my sister had, and I said, these places can't be touched, right? And so after about 45 minutes of writing and watching me bend and lifting my arms and bending sideways, and here's something you need to know, folks, if you're being diagnosed with fibromyalgia, all right? Because this is something, as a stubborn hard worker I have always been, this is something I didn't know. Now, are you listening? Be very, 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 attentive to what I'm about to say. Because I've said it for years now, but people don't seem to listen, including myself. When he told me to stand and put my hands flat to my thighs and lean sideways until I couldn't, like slide my hand down my leg until I couldn't go any further. And I started to go, and I was in pain. I started to go and I said, okay, I got to ask, because something my sister had said years and years ago, never, ever, when they say until it hurts, they don't mean until you can't get past that pain. You understand? So I started to slide my hand down and I stood back up and I said, I got to ask you something. He said, what? I said, when you ask me how far down can my hand go, do you mean until I reach pain or until I push through the pain to the absolute end? He said, never push through the pain. If you push through the pain, you push yourself through the pain, you're doing more damage. And I went, oh. He said, I'm not saying, lay down and die, but he said, I am saying you got to be kinder to yourself. He said, now I need to see where the pain starts, not how far you can go into it. I need to see where the pain starts. And so 15 more minutes of mobility tests. And he said, you've got fibro. You are class. He didn't say it that way. He said, you've got fibro. He said, you are classic fibromyalgia. And I said, oh, well, and so we started talking about pain management. And I said, well, I've been trying marijuana, right? Well, no, I wasn't trying marijuana yet. No, I said, I don't know. I said, I take Robaxacet. And he goes, right. And I said, I'm actually trying to get legalized for marijuana. And he said, we have a pill for that now. And I said, what do you mean? He said, synthetic THC and CBD. I said, really? I said, I'll try that. I reacted to it. So when I went back to my doctor, because I had to go to the pharmacy and say, this isn't a reaction. This is a reaction. He said, that's not a reaction that you'll get. He said, I don't understand how you're reacting in this way. Everybody who reacts to this pill reacts this way. I said, check the 1%ers. 99% of people react this way. I react this way. And he went down a rabbit hole and he said, you're right. He said, I got to put you down as allergic to the synthetic marijuana pills. And I said, okay. So I went back to my doctor and she went like this. She said, okay. And she wrote this down. She said, I'm sending you to a pain specialist in Ottawa who diagnoses and prescribes marijuana. I said, really? And she said, but before you see him, try the marijuana first because we don't know if you're going to react to it. So marijuana, I've never had a reaction to, except when I've overdone it with edibles. And that wasn't a reaction. That was just stupid. So you listen to your body, but I grew up with people who didn't stop until the job was done, regardless of, the hardest thing my dad ever had to do was to give up his job after he had a heart attack, right? And he died. My dad died in the reception area of the hospital. Thank God he was in the reception area. He dropped dead. They were 20 minutes to 25 minutes bringing him back. So when the doctor came in and said, do you want to go back to work? And Dad said, can you guarantee me 5 years? And the doctor laughed. And our family doctor back then had a bit of a cowboy attitude to him, right? And he said to my dad, he said, I can't guarantee you 5 fucking minutes. He said, you were dead, Bob. You were dead for 20 minutes. And Dad said, well, then you sign all the paperwork for disability. He said, because I got an 11-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son who I have to see my youngest, which was me, live to 16. He said, I have to get my youngest to 16 because my mom was already dead. And my dad lived till I was 36. Isn't that wild? How old was I in 2000? Right? So, well, oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. Speaking of my dad, from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the leaves are falling. 'Tis you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow. or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. And I'll be here in sunshine and in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Daddy boy, I love you so. So that was from my dad and my Uncle Art. He's still too angry to die. Well, Angie Mac, thing is, you say my dad never saw a doctor until he was medicated. Do you know that Howie never voluntarily went to a doctor until we met? And he said, I'm sure I did when I was a kid. My mom would take me to the doctor, but he couldn't stand the doctor, their family doctor. So it wasn't until, I don't know how many years ago before he finally got a doctor. Medevac. Who's Medevac? Till he was medicated, he's still too angry to die. Well, the way I look at it is if he didn't see a doctor, then he, I think we need to listen to our bodies more and look after ourselves more. Speaking of which, oh, thank you, Danny boy. Do you know tomorrow from... Don't ask me to sing Annie. It's like Cats for me, okay? Tomorrow, I love ya. Tomorrow's just a day away. No, I hate that song. Okay? My family took their kids, my nieces and nephews, there was like 6 of them, to see Annie. And that's all I listened to. My other brother and his wife took his 2 daughters to see Cats, and that's all I ever heard. And that bad enough, but the guy I rode to work with, who wasn't very bright, he wasn't very, it's not that he wasn't bright, he just, he wasn't polished in any way, sense, or form. So his older wife took him to see Cats. So not only did I have to hear it on the record player when I came home to eat my supper at night, I had to hear it on my way to work in the morning. I will never see Cats because it's been destroyed for me. Okay? Hi, Roxanne. I got tossed out by my last attempt because I refused 6 prescriptions he wrote 3 minutes into my visit. Yeah. My doctor is like happy that I'm cutting back on my lorazepam. Cutting down. I'm down 10 pills a month, down from 35 pills a month to 25 a month. And hence, I have a lot of nights where I don't sleep properly, but I get through it. And like I said, the last time I went and saw the actual nurse practitioner, because I really don't see the doctor that much. I saw her for my knee. But the nurse practitioner said, well, your last blood work, we want to put you on diabetes meds preventatively. Your blood sugar was 6.7 after a 12-hour fast. I said, nope. Because I know for a fact 10 years ago or 15 years ago, 6.7 was the benchmark for good blood sugar. They've lowered all the benchmarks. They want to put me on diabetes meds preventatively. I said, no, thank you. And they said, why? I said, A, I don't feel any need. I don't feel ill. I know I have reactive hypoglycemia, so I don't eat a lot of chocolate bars or anything like that. I said, and B, it's not an issue for me. If I don't feel sick from it, then why are you trying to treat it? And she went, well, because we want to treat it before it gets bad. I said, no. And they said, well, we'd like to put you on cholesterol meds preventatively. I said, absolutely not. And she said, why? I said, because there's no need. I said, I know that the blood work this is what I've heard, the blood work, and I've done some research, when you do blood work for cholesterol, sometimes inflammation will mask it as a cholesterol issue. They're very, very similar. And I'm full of inflammation. So no, I'm not. So The doctor wanted me last year to do more blood work. I said, why? Well, we want to see where your sugar levels and stuff are. I said, there's no need. I'm fine. I'll let you know when I feel sick. You've heard me talk about Josie and Harold. And Josie passed away a few years back. But Harold, when I used to go in and have coffee with him like at least once a week. And Harold, at one point, was in the hospital. So I went up to visit him. I said, what's going on? He goes, apparently my blood sugars were nuts. He had double vision. And he, was kind of getting dizzy and stuff. And his blood sugar was like 23. Because they did, a friend came in and had a blood work thing on him, and he said, here, test this, we'll test your blood. Or his wife had a blood test thing, and so they tested his blood, and his blood sugar was really high, and he ended up in the hospital, and he came out on all these medicines and eating, told that he's got to have he can't use sugar anymore, he's got to use artificial sweeteners and all that stuff. And I went, and to me, up until that point, and he was like 65, 70, right? So he never went to a doctor until he had to have hernia surgery. He went to the ER. And he drove himself to the surgery, stayed for as long as it took, and then drove himself home. That's how much he went to the doctor. He's still alive, that man, right? Tina, please make sure Bev knows I had to leave. You take care, sweetheart. I love you. All right, have a good day. So, I honestly think doctors are really good. I remember doctors being diagnostic and then telling you what you could do and what you couldn't do, like for meds or whatever. I never had penicillin until after my mother died. I never had penicillin until I was 11 years old. My son, Brier, had penicillin at 6 weeks old. Not even 6 weeks old, 3 weeks old. The doctor actually made a house call because he had a cold. So I got to turn the heat on in here. So what I'm saying is, they've trained us to run to the doctor for every little ailment. And the doctors are trained. This is just my medical opinion. This is just my opinion. I think the doctors are trained to push pharmaceuticals. That's all. Right? Because that's the, pharmaceuticals are for everything. And I don't do pharmaceuticals well. So I'm not going to willingly add more to my life unless I absolutely have to. Does that make sense? Yep, Chanel, you said that. You got that one right. Okay. So I'm not saying, okay, listen to me. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor if something's wrong. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. Because sometimes there's, you have to go to the doctor. Am I going to go to the doctor because I have the flu? No. Am I going to go to the doctor because my hands are swelling and I'm in pain? No. Did I go to the doctor for my knee? I went to the emergency room and got laughed at. Until I went to my doctor and she sent me back for x-rays and said, yeah, I've got degenerative joints and stuff from arthritis. It's no big surprise, right? I'm not sure. Oh, you're finishing the tree. Oh, how nice, Jenny. I'm not sure that a chiropractor and someone with fibro would mix, because I don't even let anyone touch me. Like, I will hug, but I will hug people if they offer, but they got to let me do the hugging first, right? I have to put myself against their body in a comfortable way. And my kids absolutely know that you can't just like hug mom and go, mama, or pick me up or anything like that. They hug me very, very gently. My doctor appointment next month, he's just going to make me feel bad again. About what, Angie Mac? What can he make you feel bad? You talking emotionally, mentally, or physically? Okay? Because those are three very different things, right? But I'm not telling you don't go to your doctor. All right? I'm telling you go to your doctor when you think it's necessary. Like when I blew my knee and I couldn't walk with a walker, it was time to go to the doctor. And I put my faith in the emergency room and was laughed at. My family doctor, however, said no, 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 no. And she sent me back for x-rays and stuff like that. And she said, you're just gonna have to keep doing the things you do, and don't push yourself through the pain, but don't give in to it either. You know what I mean? So that's my words these days. Well, they're never going to be happy with your levels. Like the doctor last fall, wanted to give, not this fall, last fall, wanted to get me to do blood work. And I said, no. She said, why not? I said, because I don't see the need. I'm fine. I had blood work when I went to the x-rays for my knees. When she sent me to the hospital, she sent me for blood work and for and x-rays. And so, I mean, yeah, I'll consent to that because we're trying to solve a problem. But if you want to take blood work from me to find a problem, there's a difference. If you're trying to diagnose a problem and you need to do me blood work and stuff like that because there's an issue at hand, I have no problem with that. But when you want me to fast for 12 hours and then go in and do blood work so you can see if you can find more medication for me, I'm going to say no every fucking time. You know what I mean? I fell and went to the ER and they did an x-ray and said it was nothing. The swelling didn't go down for 3 months and I couldn't walk properly for those 3 months. Yeah. Right. ER doctors, especially new ones, I honestly think I have to get off this subject before they ding me, but because apparently, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about my own body, but hang on, I'm focusing on something. Doctors are now trained to punch your symptoms into a computer and then diagnose you that way. You know, a lot of doctors don't have horse sense anymore. You know what I mean? And a lot of ER doctors are trained to fluff off anybody coming in with pain because they're after opiates. Even though I told him I cannot have opiates, I cannot have any inflammatories, and he still put me on prednisone, which kind of screwed me up a little bit for a few days. It was really weird. But yeah, gentle hugs, absolutely. I've had to teach doctors around here about things. The thing is doctors nowadays rely really heavily on files and computers and blood work and stuff, right? I remember going in to see my family doctor when Arthur was pre-Howie. So Arthur was between 1 and 2 years old. And I went in to see my family doctor. And I said, okay, I forget what the drug was, but it was for helping you. My sister-in-law was on it, helping you to quit smoking. And I said, I need B12 shots for my depression and stuff. And he goes, okay, back up the truck. What's going on? This was the doctor who helped deliver Brier, along with Dr. Boss. And this doctor said, okay, wait a second. He said, why do you think you need B12 shots? And I told him, I said, you know, I have PMS, I have this, I have that. And he said, okay, then you're not clonidine. That was the name of the drug. I said, I want clonidine to help me quit smoking. And I need something for my mood swings. And so he sat me down for 20 minutes. And he went through, he listened to me. And he said, okay, I'm not going to give you clonidine. And I said, why? He said, because it sounds like you suffer from PMS and or depression, and we need to get that looked at. Clonidine is a depressant. If I give you that, it could have disastrous results for your emotional swings. He said, this is without diagnosing you. I will not give that to you, from what you've told me about your mood swings and stuff. And so I never did go back and get assessed for mental health issues. That wasn't until Brier was a baby, right? So maybe 4 years later. And then my GP took 3 months to diagnose me with charts and tests I had to do every day. There was a 30 question questionnaire, a 30 question questionnaire that I had to fill out every day at the end of the day for 3 months. And I kept tearing it up because I said to Howie, she's going to think I'm nuts. She's going to think I'm absolutely psychotic. I'm going to end up in the loony bin. Because once I started to, and there were times I had to ask Howie for help. Because I'd say, because if I'm feeling good by the end of the day, I've forgotten the crap I felt earlier. And Howie said, Bev, you phoned me at lunchtime and you couldn't get out of bed. Like, when Brier, I could get out of bed, but I mean, I had Brier on the bed with me and we were just, hanging out and stuff like that. But I was like, he said, no, you didn't have a good day today. Right. So I had to get Howie to actually help me because I wasn't always in the right frame of mind to even answer the questions. Right. Yeah, seasonal affective disorder is really good. B12 is really good for that. And so is liquid vitamin D3. You put it under your tongue. It's the sunshine vitamin. Venison is, and we didn't get any venison this year. Because venison's wild meat, right? It's full of iron and stuff. And apparently I'm anemic too. When they found that out when they did the blood work for my knee, I'm anemic. And she said, which stands to reason because you had gastric bypass surgery, so food passes through you faster and you don't always get the nutrients, right? Light therapy as well, yep. Why do you think I have these lights? I have plant lights in here for these plants. Why? So I can get sunlight. Like I can get all the different layers of light that I need. God, we've been on here for almost an hour and I haven't even rolled anything yet. So I don't get a lot of SADs. I mean, like when I put Gracie out, if the sun is shining, I stand out on the porch and wait for her. It's not a lot, right? So let's get off the health talk. Ended up with a 2.2 hemoglobin. I have no idea what that is. But I know when my iron is really low because I'm really sluggish and I crave things like steak and liver, right? Well, thank you, Roxanne. That's one of the 2 YouTube family Christmas trees. The other one's in the dining room. And tomorrow, God, I was hoping the snow would be gone by then, but it just keeps accumulating. Tomorrow, I think he's working tonight. That means I had to have 7 pints of blood. Was almost dead. Oh my God, 7 pints of blood? Isn't there only like 8 in your body? How many pints of blood are in your body? Hey, Willow, how are you, darling? Apricot jam today. Yes, guess what? I'm ordering myself trees for my birthday next month. I might get 2 apricot trees. I want to get 2 apricot trees just to make sure in case one dies. I want my apricot tree to finally have a pollinator. Most apricot trees are self-pollinating. Apparently not the one I bought. So, tomorrow, Howie's taking a truck to work to deliver to the guy he's been working it on for, who lives not far from where Howie works. Put all my stuff away here. Trying to keep things tidy. And So he's going to deliver, he's going to take the truck to work, and the guy's going to come in and pick up the truck. And then I've got to take my truck and go pick up Howie. I don't like driving in the winter. Well, it's not the driving, of course. It's the walking, right? The getting in and out of the truck. So Howie better clean my truck off when he gets home today. You better clean off my truck when he gets home, because that's not something I have. Has anybody seen those things on Facebook? It looks like a little thing, and it has two rings, and they go like this, and it defrosts your car. Does anybody see? Has anybody ever seen one of them or used one of them? Yes, my birthday's January 10th. I love a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Do you not remember the one I had in the window 2 years ago? We got it right off our property, and I put it in the window. Howie was not impressed. So Howie and I have made an agreement as of last year. I'll put a big tree up, but Howie has to help with it, because I can't do it all by myself. I see that, but I mean, and I have specific needs about real trees. I don't want a spruce unless I absolutely have no choice, because they make my arms all prickly with like a light rash wherever the needles touch. They smell like cat piss. And Scotch pines have beautiful smell, but they're like trying to decorate a pom-pom. You know what I mean? My mom loves Scotch pines. I like balsams, fir trees. And I like them because they're soft needled, they have wonderful smell, and they're fairly easy for me to decorate. Air layer the tree you have, and it's free. I don't have that many fruit trees and saved a fortune by not buying fruit trees. I've tried that. And it didn't work. Howie is going to be renting a digger this year, because we're taking down the pool, and he's going to move my apple trees out of the way so that he can get down behind the house here, and he's going to dig that all up and build a retreat. I have no idea what he's doing, but can't do live trees. He's not even able to mow the yard where the pine trees are. Ooh, that's rough. I've had 2 iron infusions since then, and my body is finally making its own blood and platelets. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I was basically not getting any oxygen to my body, and the doctor believes that my CPAP machine kept me alive. Wow. I'm in a career crisis. I think my company is closing. I have good resume and need to move on after January 1st. Washington State cannot get you for herbal use. I'm not sure I understand that, but start looking now, Angie, okay? Maybe you did something wrong. 100% works on all my trees. Isn't that where you split the branch and put a baggie in it with soil and aloe vera and then tape it and let it root? You know what my absolute favorite tree is? Is the Fraser fir. That's the Cadillac of Christmas trees, and they're not easy to find. When we lived in Colborne, we could never afford them because they were so expensive. But when we lived in Colborne, the guy at the gas station sold Fraser firs. He sold other trees, but he sold Fraser firs. And he told me, I said one year, he said, they're expensive, but they're great. And I said, how much are they? And he goes, well, I can't give you one this year because they're all spoken for. He said, but if you want one next year, I'll put you on the list. The year my dad died in November, Howie got me a Fraser fir, an 8-foot Fraser fir for that Christmas that year. Maybe you should did something wrong. One of my neighbors bought that leg lamp for Christmas Story and displays it every Christmas in their window. Oh, that's so funny. On a job offer. I'm not sure I understand that. You'll get there. Well, the thing is you know the old saying that God closes a door, he opens a window, right? So, the leg lamp. Why? It's like the 4th of July. It's indescribably beautiful. Now you know where I get a lot of my phrases, how I say things. They come from movies. I've been a movie buff my whole life. Now my memory's not so great. But, you know, it is what it is. They won't be able to ding you on a drug test. Okay. Like $250 at Home Depot. That's pricey. I should get one for my bay window. No, I can't. Who would spend $250 on a lamp, right? Got a Fraser for $10 more than a balsam. Wow. You know what? We got to watch that movie. We haven't watched that in a couple of years. Last year we watched Christmas with the Cranks and The Family Man with Nicolas Cage. I think that's all we watched. We have so many Christmas movies that we can watch that we kind of go, oh, let's wait and watch. Let's wait and watch on the weekend. And then the weekend comes and we end up not doing anything. So here's some of my favorite Christmas movies, starting from oldest to newest. The Bishop's Wife with, I think it was Clark Gable or Cary Grant. Can't remember which one. I think it was Cary Grant. And David Niven. Going My Way with Bing Crosby. Not traditionally a Christmas movie, but a good precursor. The Bells of St. Mary's I have not seen in years. It's a Wonderful Life. Then there's, let's move up the time scale a little bit. And then there's like A Christmas Story, One Magic Christmas. What's the one with Kurt Russell? The newest one with Kurt Russell. Not the second one, because I heard it was really crap. A Christmas Carol with Alistair Sim. Absolutely. Scrooged with Bill Murray is another classic. Pretty sure we watched that last year. It makes your cheeks all rosy and your eyes glow. And what's the one with Kurt Russell where he goes, just this once, ho ho ho? I don't like a lot of sequels. So I mean, we got a lot to look forward to. And there's Love Actually, which will probably be this weekend. And Christmas Chronicles, thank you. Oh, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation was our first Christmas movie of the year, every year for a very long time. Once my brother Billy said, yeah, you can go up on our property and cut down a tree. He said, don't worry about it if you want to cut down one that's slightly bigger just to get a nice top. So we go up, and it was very green Christmas. There was very little snow. There was snow, but it was only like 6 inches deep. And we went up to my brother Billy's, and it was like everybody knew their parts. Howie said, I found a tree. And I walked over and I said, Howie, that tree is 20 feet tall. And Arthur looked at him and goes, Dad, that won't even fit in our yard. And Howie said, it's not going in our yard, Arthur. It's going in our living room. And he cut it down and took the top off it. Right? And I showed a picture of my brother Billy. He said, you didn't get that off my property. I said, yes, I did. We had to winch. We had a 10-foot by 10-foot living room, or 12-foot by 12-foot living room. It was really tiny. He had to winch that. He had to put hooks in the corner wall on either side, put the rope around one hook, wrap it around the trunk of the tree, put it in the other, and then winch it and tie it in. Because that thing kept wanting to pop out of the room. It wouldn't sit in the corner. Winched it into the corner and tied it down. I'm not kidding. A Charlie Brown Christmas for us. Well, and a Charlie Brown's Christmas. I haven't seen that in years. I'm so sorry I have to go and get hubby's Chinese supper started. So everyone take care. Take care, Charlene. Well, listen, we've been on here for over an hour. And I haven't even had a puff yet. But I'm going to say, yes, we're going to have a tea break every day. But I'm thinking, does it actually have to be in the morning? I need a consensus. There's 111 people here. I'm going to ask you to do something. Put up a pink hand if you don't care what time during the day my tea break is, as long as you get it. Okay? Put up a pink poop if you think it should always be between 10 and noon every day. Okay? Pink poop for a 2-hour slot, or a pink hand for you don't care what time the tea break comes as long as you get it. 111. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tina, I can't count 4 for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Pink live, 15. Okay. Pink hand. Pink hearts. Hey, Black Rock, how are you, Kimmy? I triple dog dare you. Oh, no. The triple dog dare. Everybody knows. I licked a chain link fence once. Thank God it was the fence and not the... Because I went like that on a dare, and it went click, 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 tick, 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 and my tongue was sore for days. Don't have pink heart emoji or pink hand emoji as long as it's not past 9 p.m. my time. Well, 9 p.m. tonight or 8:30 tonight is the Little Women Live. So I didn't want to do a live stream beforehand. So I thought, well, it's Thursday. I'll just do a midday live stream for everybody. My niece passed away on Sunday morning. She was only 44. Trish, how did that happen? Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. My mom passed away at 43. It's a shock. It's a shock to any family. We'll be praying for you, Trish. We'll be praying for you. We are definitely not meant to outlive, and mentally and emotionally, and we're not meant to outlive our children, our nieces, our nephews. Some people have even lived their grandchildren, and it's a really sad thing. That's not the way life is supposed to be, right? So we are going to lift you up in prayer, Trish. Don't you worry about it. You just keep walking in the light of God's love and know that everything you're feeling is normal, and there is no time limit on how long it takes you to come to terms with that. Okay, sweetheart? We all have you, and we all have you in our hearts. Okay? And God definitely has you in his hands. Okay? Even if you don't believe that, we do. And therefore, we win. Right? Because even if someone doesn't believe in God, the people that do believe, that are praying for them, get the message out. Right? Absolutely. Hey, Manette. So, hi, Bridget McLean. Anyway, we're going to go, and I will see everybody on Little Women Live, everybody who wants to show up on the live reading of Little Women Live. I believe it's day 5 this week. Okay? Take care. God bless. I love you guys, and we will see you all soon. All right? No later than tomorrow. All right? Take care. God bless. And remember, when you take in and accept God's love, you shine, and the darkness parts its ways for you. Never forget that. I love you. Take care. God bless.